What if I told you the seed sources nurseries don't want you to know about are just a few clicks away this year? The ones real gardeners use, quietly, to save money and still grow the best crops. Stick around because this one's for the growers who like a good deal and a good harvest. Welcome to Serene Green Gardens. Hey everybody, welcome back to Serene Green Gardens, where smart gardening meets wallet-friendly tips. If you're growing in containers, tight spaces, or just trying to make your garden thrive without spending a fortune, you're in the right place. Today, we're getting into something special, the seed and plant sources most nurseries don't talk about. They're not exactly a secret anymore, but they are the kind of places that can change the way you garden in 2025. So grab your notebook, maybe a cup of tea, and let's dig into this together. And hey, before we start, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me what you're planning to grow this season. I'll be reading through and picking a few favorites to feature in the next video. All right, so let's talk about why this actually matters. Most people don't realize that nurseries, even the small local ones, usually buy their seeds and plants wholesale, then mark up the price before they ever reach the shelf. And honestly, that's fair business. They've got rent, staff, displays, the whole deal. But here's the catch. You end up paying more, sometimes twice as much, and you're still limited to whatever handful of varieties they decided to stock that season. And now, when you skip the middleman and go straight to reliable seed sources online, it's a completely different game. You get access to rare, open-pollinated, and heirloom varieties that never even make it to those retail racks. And for container gardeners like us, that's huge because you can pick compact or patio-friendly plants that actually fit your space instead of trying to force full-size crops into tiny pots. According to Better Homes and Gardens, and even newer grower communities online, more and more gardeners are buying directly from seed suppliers, not just for the savings, but because of the options. The convenience is unbeatable, the variety is massive, and you can find exactly what you want for your zone and growing setup. And for my container growing crowd, yeah, I'm talking to you. I know not everyone wants to be down on the ground pulling weeds all day. You want something practical, beautiful, and affordable. That's where these online seed companies become a total game changer. You get more control, more creativity, and you spend less doing it. Once you see the kind of results these sources produce, you'll understand why I don't bother with the nursery markup anymore. Here's the thing. These seed companies I'm about to show you, they're not really a secret, but they kind of are. Most serious gardeners know them, swear by them, and quietly stock up every season. Meanwhile, most casual shoppers never even hear about them because they're too busy grabbing whatever's on the end cap at the big box nursery. And that's exactly why nurseries don't talk about them much. Because once you find these sources, you start realizing how much you've been overpaying for less variety and, honestly, less freshness. I'll be real with you. I learned this the hard way. A few years back, I paid nearly double at my local garden center for what turned out to be a sad little packet of seeds. Half of them didn't even sprout. Total waste. Then I tried one of these smaller online suppliers, and my germination rate nearly doubled. Healthier plants, more options, and I still had change in my pocket. You'll see exactly what I mean in a second. All right, let's get into it. The actual seed sources that'll change your gardening game this year and why they're worth every penny. All right, first up, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds out of Missouri. Now, if you've never heard of them, get ready to go down a rabbit hole. These folks are like the treasure chest of the seed world. They specialize in rare and heirloom varieties, and when I say thousands of options, I'm not exaggerating. You'll find everything from old world beans to purple carrots and tomato varieties you didn't even know existed. It's kind of like walking into the past, but with a gardener's wish list in your hands. The best part is their seeds are open-pollinated and non-GMO, which means you can save them year after year if you want to. For those of us who love variety, or just want something different from the same store-bought lettuce or tomato, Baker Creek is a dream. They even have a free annual catalog that looks more like a coffee table book. It's beautiful, full of stories behind each plant. It almost makes you want to plant everything you see. Now, for container gardeners, that's you and me, this is where Baker Creek really shines. They've got compact and patio-sized crops like tomatoes, peppers, and even small melons that do great in pots or raised containers. So instead of trying to squeeze a full-size tomato vine into a small pot, you can pick a dwarf or bush variety that gives you just as much flavor without the hassle.
And here's a little money-saving insight. Since they sell seed packets and not live plants, you're getting way more bang for your buck. A single pack can grow an entire container garden for a fraction of what you'd pay for starter plants at the nursery. Plus, you get to control how and when they're started, which means stronger, more adaptable plants in your own setup. Quick tip before you rush to their website. Order early in the season. Baker Creek's popular varieties sell out fast. Once their new catalog drops each year, it's a bit like concert tickets. The good stuff disappears quick. So if you want those unique patio-friendly crops, make your picks early and you'll be set for the year. Now, if Baker Creek is the bold explorer of the seed world, this next one is more like the quiet historian, dedicated to keeping our gardening heritage alive. Next up, let's talk about a place that feels more like a movement than a company. Seed Savers Exchange, based in Iowa. This one's a nonprofit, and their whole mission is built around preserving garden heritage. They focus on heirloom and open-pollinated seeds, the kind your grandparents or great-grandparents might have grown before big commercial hybrids took over. What makes them special isn't just the variety, though trust me, they've got plenty. It's the story behind it all. Every packet you buy supports the preservation of genetic diversity in our food supply. In simple terms, they're saving old seed varieties that might otherwise disappear forever. It's gardening with purpose, and I think that resonates with a lot of us who care more than just getting harvest. Now, from a practical point of view, Seed Savers Exchange is also fantastic if you're gardening on a budget. Most of their packets are moderately priced. You're not paying those inflated nursery costs. And here's where it really stretches your dollar. Because these seeds are open-pollinated, you can actually save the seeds from your healthiest plants and reuse them next season. That means you're not just buying seeds, you're investing in a cycle that keeps giving back year after year. It's the kind of thing that turns gardening into a tradition, not just a hobby. You plant, you grow, you save, and you repeat. And for container gardeners like us, that's incredibly empowering. You can start small, maybe a pot of basil or a few peppers, and then save the seeds for next season without spending another dime. If I were showing this on camera, I'd probably hold up one of my old seed packets, maybe a tomato or some herbs, and show you how easy it is to label and store them. A simple envelope, a date, a note on how it performed, and you've got your own mini seed bank at home. It's that easy. So if you like the idea of gardening smarter, not harder, and definitely not more expensively, Seed Savers Exchange deserves a bookmark in your browser. Its heritage meets practicality, and that combination is pretty rare these days. Now, if Seed Savers is about preserving the past, this next source is all about adapting for the future, especially if you live in warmer climates or you're focused on sustainable growing. All right, third on the list, and one that doesn't always get the spotlight, is Southern Exposure Seed Exchange out of Virginia. Now, this one's a little less known by the average gardener, but it's a real favorite among those who care about sustainable growing and regionally adapted crops. Their focus is simple but powerful. Vegetables, herbs, and open-pollinated seeds that are grown to thrive, not just survive, in real-world conditions. What I really appreciate about Southern Exposure is how intentional they are with what they offer. They specialize in varieties that handle heat, humidity, and even less than perfect soil, which, let's be honest, describes a lot of our gardens. And for container growers like us, that's huge. You don't always have deep, rich soil or acres of space, but with the right variety, you can still grow incredible food on a patio, balcony, or backyard corner. They've done their homework on this. Their catalog even notes which plants are better for smaller setups or for gardeners working in compact soil conditions. So instead of trial and error, you get to start with something that's already proven to work in tighter, controlled spaces. That's your container advantage right there. Another thing I like, and this is practical, their pricing stays fair, and they often offer what they call variety packs, basically small bundles of different types of the same crop. Say you want to test a few types of tomatoes or beans without buying 5 separate packs. These bundles let you do that for less money. It's smart and it keeps things interesting. Now, just one small tip from experience. Before you check out, take a quick look at their shipping costs. They're reasonable, but if you're ordering multiple items, you'll want to balance that out with those variety packs to get the best value per seed. It's a little step that makes a big difference if you're trying to stretch your gardening budget. Southern Exposure is one of those companies that quietly supports the kind of gardening most of us actually do. Small scale, mindful, and sustainable. They're not flashy, they're not selling gimmicks, but they're absolutely delivering results. It's the kind of place that once you buy from, you'll probably keep coming back every season. All right, now if Southern Exposure is about smart, sustainable growing, this next one leans into simplicity and accessibility. It's perfect for newer gardeners or anyone who just wants straightforward, dependable results.
All right, last but definitely not least, let's talk about botanical interests out of Colorado. Now, this one isn't super obscure, but it's still overlooked by a lot of casual gardeners who stick to whatever's on the nursery rack. And that's a shame, because this company quietly makes some of the most beginner-friendly seed packs out there. They've got a huge selection of vegetables, herbs, and flowers, but what stands out for me is how approachable they make everything. Each seed packet is almost like a mini guide. You've got detailed growing instructions printed inside the flap, along with tips on spacing, sunlight, and even harvesting. It's basically a pocket lesson for anyone still getting comfortable with gardening. Their presentation is beautiful too. Nice, clean designs, clear labeling, but it's not just about looks. The information they give actually helps you avoid common mistakes. So if you're planting in containers or small raised beds, it tells you exactly how deep to plant, how often to water, and which varieties stay compact. That's a big deal when you don't have ground space to play with. Price-wise, they're pretty reasonable. You're not paying fancy brand markup, and the germination quality is solid. I've used their herb seeds for years. Basil, cilantro, rosemary, and they never disappoint. For anyone who wants a straightforward, reliable seed source that doesn't require trial and error, Botanical Interests is honestly one of the easiest wins. And for my audience, the container gardeners, the budget-minded crowd, it's a great fit. You get value, you get guidance, and you don't have to spend hours researching how to plant each thing. The packet literally walks you through it. So if you've ever looked at gardening guides and thought, I just want something simple that works, start here. Botanical Interest has that balance of ease, quality, and cost that makes gardening feel fun instead of intimidating. So that rounds out our list of top seed sources for 2025. Each one different, each one worth exploring depending on how you like to grow. Now, before you start loading up your online cart, let's talk about how to actually shop smart. Because the goal here isn't just to find cool seeds, it's to make sure you're getting real value and not falling for those quiet little markups that sneak in. I've got 3 quick but really important tips for you. Number 1, check germination and freshness. This one's huge. Seeds don't last forever, and if they've been sitting in a warehouse or on a shelf for too long, your germination rate can drop fast. That's money and time wasted. The good suppliers will tell you when a batch was packed or labeled as a new introduction for the season. Baker Creek, for example, is great about listing fresh seed lots. If a company's transparent about freshness, that's a green flag. If they don't say anything about how recent their stock is, well, I'd think twice. You want to plant confidence, not old seed dust. Number 2, match your seeds to your growing zone and container style. Even the best quality seeds will underperform if they're not matched to your conditions. So think about your setup. You're growing in containers, right? That means limited root space and different moisture patterns. You want to look for varieties that are labeled compact, dwarf, or container friendly. Things like patio tomatoes, bush beans, or smaller kale varieties. Trust me, those words make all the difference. It's like picking a pet that fits your lifestyle. You wouldn't bring home a Great Dane if you live in a studio apartment. The same logic applies to plants. Compact and container-specific varieties will reward you with healthier and more manageable growth. See that? Most of these online suppliers actually let you filter by container or space size now. Use it. It's there for a reason. And finally, don't get caught by the classic online trap. Cheap seeds, expensive shipping. You'll see a packet for $3 and think, wow, that's a steal. But then the shipping shows up at $7 or $8. Suddenly that deal's not so sweet anymore. Do the quick math. Compare the total cost of your order, seeds, plus shipping, against what you'd pay locally. In a lot of cases, it still comes out cheaper, especially when you factor in variety and quality, but it's always worth checking before you hit buy. If you're ordering multiple types, group them in one go instead of separate orders. It'll save you more than you realize. So yeah, freshness, fit, and full cost. Get those three rights and you'll never waste another season wondering why your plants didn't thrive or your wallet feels lighter. Gardening should feel rewarding, not regretful, and a little smart shopping goes a long way. Now, let's quickly talk about one more thing that always gets gardeners debating. Should you go for seeds or live plants? All right, let's talk about something I get asked a lot. Should you start with seeds or buy live plants? It's a good question, and honestly, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. But since most of us, here, you and I, are container gardeners, seeds usually make a lot more sense.
Here's why. Seeds give you flexibility. You can start them on your own schedule, choose exactly what varieties you want, and control how they're grown from the very beginning. You're not stuck with whatever the nursery happens to have in stock that week. And when you're gardening in containers, that control matters. You decide how many plants to grow, how deep your soil goes, and when to transplant. Plus, seeds are way more affordable. One packet can give you dozens of plants for the price of 1 or 2 nursery seedlings. And let's be honest, for those of us who prefer not to get down on the ground anymore, starting seeds on a table or bench just feels easier. You can work comfortably, watch your little sprouts come to life, and move them around when needed. It's low stress, high reward. Now, if you do want to order live plants, like starter herbs or tomato transplants, that's totally fine too. Just be sure to double-check the shipping details. Live plants need careful handling, and not every company is equipped for that. Many of the seed suppliers we talked about today mainly focus on dry seed packets, not live plant shipping. So you want to make sure the seller guarantees safe delivery or has temperature control options, especially if you're ordering during warmer months. So here's my honest advice. Start with seeds first. It's the most budget-friendly and gives you the widest range of options. Then, if you want to mix things up or fill a few empty pots later, add live plants as your second wave. That way, you're saving money up front, growing exactly what you love, and still keeping room for those instant gratification greens when you want them. Think of it this way. Seeds give you the freedom to experiment, and plants give you the satisfaction of seeing instant results. Use both when it makes sense, but let seeds be your foundation. You'll thank yourself when harvest time rolls around. All right, now I want to hear from you. Seriously, what's that one vegetable or herb you're most excited to grow this season? The one you've been thinking about since winter? Or maybe the one you've never tried before but can't wait to see sprouting in your containers? Drop it in the comments below and I'll personally reply with a supplier I've bought it from and tell you how it performed for me. This channel isn't just about me giving tips, it's about all of us sharing what works. So let's make the comment section a little seed exchange of ideas. If you've already ordered from one of these suppliers or even a different one, let us know how it went. Was the shipping good? Did everything sprout? Was there a surprise hit or total flop? Your feedback helps every gardener here, new or seasoned, make smarter choices. That's what SereneGreen Gardens is all about. We learn together, we grow together, and we help each other save a little money while doing it. So go ahead, scroll down and drop your answer. I'll be watching for the best ones. So there you have it. 4 high-quality seed sources you probably haven't considered if you stick with the big box nurseries. For 2025, this gives you more variety, better value, and control over what you grow. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss upcoming videos on container growing, budget tips, and more seed secrets. Share this video with a friend who's always asking, where do I get good seeds?
Thanks for watching Serene Green Gardens. Get your hands dirty or containers ready, and let's make this your best garden season yet.